Hey, Chris isn't here again today, and Lauren and I have once again proved we have no friends to come on our show and be our guests. So it'll be just us right after this.
Fine.
And we're back live right here on the Morning Waffle. There you go. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning, Beth.
It's always, someday Beth, when Beth doesn't comment, I always feel like calling the sheriff.
Somebody do a wellness check. Do a
well check.
I'm always delighted to see Beth.
Yep. And all of our loyal fans.
Absolutely.
Both of them.
Both of them. And our moms.
I'm sure my mom watches.
That's awesome. Oh, that's fun.
But it's good, yeah. So Lauren and I were just discussing. Lauren had her coffee this morning, and she said that seems like not a small, the big cup.
Am I going the wrong
Well,
way?
you got to move it to the center here.
Sorry, my brain's not.
Get behind the logos.
There it is.
And I was able to tell her that a few months ago I was informed, because I used to get a large, and they're like, nope, we're going to one size.
No, sir.
One size. I'm like, well, why is that? And they said, well, it's cheaper. We can buy one size of cup, and instead of stocking a bunch of different sizes, and so it's all one size now, which I think does make good sense.
Because, remember back in the day, this has been several years ago, especially like when Starbucks first came into Springfield, there were a handful of coffee shops, but before there was coffee shops everywhere in Springfield. Remember Starbucks Tall that was about yay big? Yeah. Grande was about yay big.
And Venti
was about yay big.
Yeah, which people don't understand. I don't really know what all those words mean.
I don't know what any of them mean.
Venti means 20. And so people think it means like large.
So it should be like 20 ounces?
I think that's the deal. They call it Venti because it was 20 ounces. That's the only thing I could figure, because it doesn't mean what everybody thought.
But then all of a sudden one day, Tall disappeared, and then Grande got big, and then Venti was like, like more coffee than any person should.
That's America right there for you.
That's America.
Bigger must be better.
Need more
if
coffee.
A little is good, more must be better.
Throw in some more coffee. But anyway, I do like this size, and it's very tasty coffee this morning. Thank you, Storytime. They were busy, too.
Did you get anything tricky down there?
No, I just got straight up coffee. I thought about getting the Honey Bunches of Latte, but
I've been trying to make them get me the Honey Bunches of Latte hot, because I could drink it cold. That's just not normally what I do.
I think you should try it cold.
I probably should.
Here's why. It tastes like cereal milk.
Which is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine warm cereal milk?
Totally.
It's like, I'm going to dig in on this.
That'd be fine with me.
I am digging in on this.
I have no problem with that. That'd be okay with me.
I'd try it. I'd just be like, hey, do it both ways and let me do a taste test.
Well, yeah. That would be fine.
It's probably because it's made with, that's why. It's made with cold brew, I think.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's made with cold brew instead of a shot of espresso.
Well, and our church has started expanding. We did the coffee thing for a while.
Okay.
And we still do coffee, and now you can get hot water, and there's some tea. You can get some
tea options.
And then they added cold brew over the summer.
Nice.
Which is delicious.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
And now, like a couple weeks ago, they rolled out lemonade. So,
well, I mean, that just checks every box.
It does. It does. You just got your lemonade, your cold brew, your decaf, your regular calf, and your tea.
I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is gonna be an unpopular opinion. You know, when you're planning for like a birthday party or something, you're like, what drinks are we gonna have? And somebody's like, have lemonade. I always cringe.
Really?
You know why? No. I like lemonade.
Yeah, it's sticky.
The combination of children and lemonade.
Yeah. Everything's going to be sticky.
Everything is going to be sticky because they love it, and everybody loves it.
It's delicious.
I mean, it's delicious. But the minute you put lemonade at a party,
well, maybe you should get everybody sippy cups. You know, just the little thing with the lids. And
like, here's your lemonade. Don't spill it. Yeah. I cringe. They're like, but lemonade's so good. And I'm like, oh, I know.
Yeah, it's super.
I know
sticky.
it is, but it's going to get everywhere.
I have I like PTSD from like Bible school.
Do tell.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, before Jim Jones kind of ruined this for us all, we used to talk about church Kool-Aid. And what we meant by church Kool-Aid was the Kool-Aid that they make with like
I'm tracking now.
a half a teaspoon of sugar in the 5-gallon, they get the big 5-gallon thing. They put the Kool-Aid in there and a little bit of sugar, and it just tasted terrible.
Well, yeah, ew.
It was horrible.
One of the nice church ladies who had everybody's, interest in mind and the church budget,
absolutely.
Just said those chitlins don't need that much sugar.
And we didn't.
And no. There is this obsession with loading up kids with sugar. It's terrible. I don't like it at all. But no, our Methodist church wasn't a Kool-Aid church, so I'd never experienced that. Yeah. That is funny, though. I could see it.
It was just the Bible, the summer Bible school.
Like, here's your Kool-Aid, and you're so excited, you take a drink, and you're like, so it was
usually
flavored
after you've been
water.
Outside running around, and you were hot, so you drank it anyway. Because
it was flavored water before flavored water was a thing.
Colored water was really all it was. So they might as well just use food coloring. But that's one of the things I kind of miss. Vacation Bible school these days is always in the evenings. It's always nighttime.
Yeah, I remember it was like a day camp thing.
Now. And it was, when I was a kid, it was always, it would be a week in the summer. It was like 8 a.m. to noon, and we did Vacation Bible School, and it was during the day, and it was kind of awesome. But now you don't have the people, there's no volunteers. You don't have any people that can do that because...
Boy, we were talking about this volunteer problem again yesterday.
Well... And the Vacation Bible School is a different thing because it's during the day, people work. But the volunteerism... just as a whole
it's tough.
Just brutal.
Well, and that was the conversation we were having yesterday. We're in the throes of planning for the PTA Best Foot Forward shoe drive. And, I mean, you can get people like, oh, we've got an event on this date. We're going to need, 5 people. And you can get that still. You can totally get that. The thing that I think all organizations are struggling with is not just the show up when we have an event people, but the plan the event, do the event,
take some responsibility. Take a little ownership.
Yeah, the more, volunteer that's running things person. Those are the ones that are struggling.
Well, and the few and far between folks that are willing to do that are just getting burnt out.
Yes.
Which I think you and I both personally are experiencing that.
Oh, absolutely.
That. It's just like, I've been doing this for years, and I can get 3 people to help me, and I need 10, and so I'm doing the work of 7.
It is kind of an interesting setup because I don't know if eventually, because I don't believe it's going to get better. I don't see why it would, because mainly I think it's driven by work.
It's a lot of it.
Because if both people aren't necessarily working full-time jobs, somebody might be homeschooling now, or they might be doing like a side hustle type thing. So, because it's difficult to live off of one income solely, in families right now. So I totally get the reason. And I do think that's the majority of the reason. It's just, it's changed, right? You don't have somebody that's, primarily at home.
Well, there's just a large culture shift. One, we think we need more than we used to think.
Oh, 100%, yes.
And that a lot of that social media driven.
Filling your time with stuff all the time.
And, I've always been a technology defender. I'm early adopter, love it and all that. But I'm having a hard time seeing a lot of the value in social media. And of course, here we are on Facebook
tough.
This morning. And I think there is a lot of good, but that because the communication, the connection, even though it can't take the place of a personal connection. We all understand that. I was just listening to a podcast this morning that says that loneliness is just as bad for your health as obesity. And
that makes sense.
It does make sense. And so you have people personally disconnected, even though they feel connected on social media. It's kind of like cotton candy. It's not real food. It's not real nourishing. It just feels like it is.
Yeah,
right?
It seems like a good idea, and it tastes good, but at the end of it,
it's not really nourishing.
No,
it doesn't really do anything for you that it should. And plus, there's so much on there. But I think that all breeds at least a low level of narcissism and me first, and so it makes it. People just don't want to volunteer. They don't want to get involved in things unless they just go, well, what's in it for me? Well, sometimes nothing's in it for you.
A lot of times nothing's in it. I mean, I think the number one thing is you build relationships during volunteering. I mean, that's where you make friends. It's where you make kind of like-minded people. You come across them. And I don't think people necessarily realize that. I think they think, well, I'm going to put some time in, but I'm not going to get anything. Well, that's not really true.
Well, it's not true. And there's, beyond that, anytime you volunteer and participate in something like that, there is some, should be at least some sense of personal accomplishment.
Yeah.
You should feel good about yourself because you did something worthwhile. Anytime you benefit your community,
that's a win.
You benefit yourself. I think that, but we just keep running into people that just want, it's all about them.
That's an interesting thing. It's like I think the idea of community has changed. Probably because of social media and the internet. I think people feel like they're part of a community, but I don't think they're really realizing they're part of a
fake community.
Kind of fake. Mm-hmm. It is because, I mean, the stuff that most people put out on their social media stuff is kind of the best of the best, or, it's driven. It's all designed to trigger the whole dopamine thing, right? You post something to get likes or comments or even angry things or sad things.
And when you see people reacting to your post, you get a little dopamine hit.
Absolutely. We all do that.
Yep.
And that's kind of the whole point. And so you're not getting a full, spectrum of what's really going on in people's lives, and it kind of is probably creating false relationships.
Well, the other problem I think with social media is I think any time that you want to wander into the realm of debate and argument and all that.
There it is.
Well, you should always have the threat of getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
And the problem with social media is you can say things and not get hit for it when you probably should. And, so it's kind of like an armed society is a polite society. It's the same theory. If you're going to stand toe-to-toe with somebody and say something to their face, you're going to suffer the consequences for it.
Yeah.
One way or the other, and you can get away with it on social media, and there's no consequences for bad behavior on social media.
Yeah, and even not just getting socked in the face, but seeing the reaction on somebody's face of words that you say to them, right? And actually seeing I've just made this person really sad. I didn't realize that was such a hot button thing for them, right?
Well, yeah. And that can make you change your tone, if nothing else. But more than that, it just seems like there are people on social media that they get their dopamine hit from being a jerk.
Yeah.
And being
I think that's absolutely true.
I don't know.
It is. I keep thinking, I'm not 100% sure what things are going to be like in 10 years because they sped up so quick over the last 5.
Man. Keep accelerating too.
Yeah, and so it is. I think that's a really unique thing about the time that we live in right now. Is when I was a kid, I felt like I had a pretty good idea of what 10 years from now was going to look like. In fact, I didn't really know.
And you were probably right.
Yeah, and I really didn't know a world that could speed up that fast. Well, and then it happened, right? The internet, wide use of the internet and smartphones, I think is the trigger point. I think, right? Was that the thing that set it all off?
It really did.
I think it was the smartphone.
Yeah, it was because that's what provided that. At that point, once the smartphone became ubiquitous with internet access, then everyone was always connected all the time if they chose to be, and a lot of times even if you don't, because you think about the ways that your phone honestly forces itself into your life with the alerts and the tones and all that stuff. You almost have to turn it off.
Yeah.
And then because there's this expectation of connectivity between people, you turn your phone off and suddenly people are calling the sheriff on Beth because she's not commenting on the morning
Beth?
Where's Beth? Because we're worried,
Find Beth.
Because people can't be connected to you. But, I do remember, I think that's the thing that I think that in my life, I think I can look at and go, wow, is actually the smartphone and the way that has changed.
I think so.
because, 2001, 2002, we didn't have that.
Nope.
2003, we didn't have that. I can't remember when the iPhone came out.
I think it was 08. I looked it up.
Was it 08? I think it was 06, 08.
06, 08. I think so. I looked it up one day. I'm like, when did the world change?
I was creating my own strings and cans versions of that. There was a Kyocera phone that had a Palm Pilot built into it, and you could receive your email on your phone.
Whoa.
And I had one of those, and I actually got...
I agree with Beth. We need more front porches. Get out and connect.
Absolutely. Maybe we should just build a front porch. If there was a lot right in the middle of Rogersville, we didn't know what to do. We could just build a front porch.
That is kind of a fun idea.
It is kind of a fun idea, isn't it? Little barbecue pit, We could...
I like it.
But I was getting... there were these cellular cards that you could get that would let you plug them in. They were called PCMCIA cards, and they were these big... They were like a... what were those? I can't think. Secure Digital, the SD cards.
Okay, yeah.
Except they were ginormous. They were that big, but they could be. You could get like maybe a megabyte of data on that thing, and it was that big. But they made some that you plugged them in, and then you could get a cellular plan for them, and you could get data. But I mean, it was like super slow.
Yeah.
But I remember getting one and like mounting it in my Jeep. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee at the time.
That's awesome.
And I had got a unit that was a Wi-Fi hotspot, and you could put one of these cards in the back. So I had my own traveling hotspot.
And it was like, what?
It was high tech, man.
That's pretty cool.
Now everybody's got a thing in there.
I do, and I think that's the thing that changed it. I mean, the quick internet on your phone, that's the thing that changed it all. I think it catapulted it to a new level. Well,
we're still struggling with figuring out how to use that wisely, and I don't know that we're going to get there because I think it takes about 100 years to figure that out. We keep dying off before we figure it. Like, I'm getting close, and then somebody dies. And
and that's the interesting thing. So in our lifetime, that happened. Of course, there's plenty of innovations and stuff that happened over the years to change people's daily lives. Now, when it happens, though, it happens rapidly. It's not this will start on the coasts and then over time, and then there'll be countries that have it and countries that don't. No, that doesn't really happen anymore. If you got the money, you'll have the technology.
Yeah. And, there were people that lived their whole lives without encountering new technology.
Oh, yeah.
Their whole life.
Well, and I've said this 100 times. People lived about the same way up until about 100 years ago.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously changes, and there were cities and civilizations built, but in general,
it was pretty similar.
They kind of lived the same way.
Yeah, and you think about, we talk about technology, but you think just about the way culture and society has been going through the exact same rapid, catastrophic metamorphosis and changes, and we don't know how to keep up with that either.
No, well, and it's like now the AI stuff, we've all laughed and joked about this, since the Terminator movies. And it's like, what is this, to me, it's like, is this really going to be the thing that changes everything again? Or is this going to be kind of a thing that burns hot and then kind of fizzles out? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, I know it's going to be around, and I know I don't know.
I remember talking to somebody a while back, years ago.
Town square. Yes, we need more town squares.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can build that too.
No square in Rogersville. There's just anyway, who told me that, voice recognition had kind of reached its peak. Mm-hmm. Like, they're never going to get any better at voice recognition. But the problem was that was a limitation of the computing technology at the time, and now our computing technology is a kabillion times more powerful.
I like that number.
And so, kabillion's a good number.
Yep.
And so, now your voice recognition technology is kind of lights out. I mean, it's pretty good. If I speak clearly and I enunciate clearly, like when I'm like on a microphone, and I don't mumble, then I can't say her name or she's going to start talking to me here on my phone. But the little lady on my phone
will understand
it and be able to transcribe
when
it perfectly.
I talk to text, it works
it does
very well.
So anyway, that's a deal. But
I don't know.
AI, I don't know. It's useful. I've used it for a couple of things. It's kind of fun. If I'm going to write something, that's a great place to start.
Yeah,
you can't rely on it for facts because it makes facts up, which is it can't determine based on its reading of the internet
So do people now make facts up
all the time? Yeah,
I mean,
and that's really and AI is reading the internet,
Yeah.
and the AI can't tell if that's a real or a fake story.
Yeah.
So it's just pulling stuff off the internet. It doesn't know if it's true or not. It's just spitting it back out. But from just a I got to write something. I'm going to get started on this. Boom, write this. It'll give you 5 or 6 paragraphs, and you go, well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And you can start, and you can go for something like that. So it's not bad.
Well,
for stuff like
something
that.
like that'll save an hour of your time.
But you should not write your entire legal brief for the federal court and file it.
Be in court.
Happen.
Arguing things for clients. So you
Fakes,
probably
the thing wrote fake
that.
sites. It wrote made up fake case citations to support their. Anyway,
well, and another interesting thing about the AI stuff is you can say things like, this is a perfect example because I saw this come across Facebook. Make me a antique bathtub made of stained glass, and it will produce you
a picture of
of this incredible, amazing looking thing. And then I saw another one that says, make me a cake that is blah, blah, blah. So then it creates it, and you put the picture out there. And the picture is unlike anything you've ever seen.
The one of the Planet 417 logos that's like a planet, I did with AI. I said, I need a blue-green. I want a blue-green planet that's roughly Earth-like. And it drew the picture.
Which is crazy, though, because here you've produced something, a picture of something, and people see it, and it comes across their Facebook feed, and they think, well, I can buy that. Mm-hmm. You can't buy that. A stained glass bathtub doesn't work. It doesn't.
It seems like a bad idea.
It doesn't work. And so I don't wonder if it's not going to ratchet up people's expectations again on the level of goods that they can actually get.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
It is very weird because it's like, you know how people are. If they see something they like, they want it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And
Amazon's entire business model is based on that.
Yes. We also know that, we're having trouble producing goods to the expectation that people want, or just in general, right? Because the people don't want to work those jobs. Mm-hmm. So that's I'm curious to see if that kind of false reality of available goods will mess with people.
Well, yeah, that's true, but we deal with so much augmented reality AR now anyway, that as that just becomes more and more pervasive. I think one of the things that I have thought recently is men in general and women to some extent, but we're wired differently, and that's good.
I 100%
on
agree.
Purpose.
Yeah.
But men, I think in general, are wired towards achievement, accomplishment. There's just something in men that says you need to go out and conquer and win.
Okay.
There is.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's important, and it's part of a man's makeup. It's part of what has kept our society safe and strong for a long time. So I'm not anti-video game, but the main problem I see with video gaming right now is it provides an entire generations of men, starting with mine, a false sense of accomplishment.
Interesting.
And so you can go
into
a video game world, and you can create your avatar or your character.
And you can go in.
And you can go in and you can raid this and win this and get this weapon and accomplish this.
Interesting.
And it's just... And I mean, I believe it's true because I can experience it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I played video games and experienced the excitement of winning a video game.
And then you think about it, you're like, I
didn't do anything.
I got nothing.
It was fun, but I didn't do anything.
But I think in a lot of ways, for a lot of young men now, it is satisfying that craving for accomplishment without actually producing anything that benefits society or their family or anything else. And so
that's smart. I mean, that's a smart observation that I had never really thought about.
And you think about as you then expand all of that into the realms with AI and AR, and you get this, we got the VR glasses now, which are pretty good.
Yeah.
You can get to people are jacked into the whole grid, and they just go click and they buy their stained glass bathtub.
Yeah.
And they say, they've got suits now that have haptics in them. And so, they'll tap you And they can, if they've got little electrodes in there, they can make your muscles contract and stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, so
they can do the whole thing. That whole Ready Player One. Have you seen that movie?
I can't remember if I ever watched it or not.
The book's pretty good, except for this one section that's complete leftist garbage. But
pretty standard.
Pretty standard. But other than that, I think it captures that AI AR dystopian future that we may be headed for really, really well.
Well, and something,
or at least the reality of how that might work.
It appears more and more, and I think this plays into what you're saying, that people don't seem to know how to do the day-to-day things that keep everything moving forward and keep everything in good shape. You see, I'm in a lot of people's houses and things like that.
We are.
And people seem to not really know how to take care of homes very well. People seem to not really know how to, grocery shop for a whole week of things to prepare food. People seem to not really know how to, get something done. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this right before we came on air. There's a lot of, I think people are really keyed in on winning an argument or proving their point versus actually accomplishing something.
Sure.
And getting it done. There seems to be, and I find this in a lot of things that I do. I like to get things done. I get my checklist and it's done, and then I move on to the next thing that I'm going to get done. Mm-hmm. I don't like to have things undone floating out around me. It drives me crazy. So I think this comes from being distracted all the time too. It does get harder and harder to get things done. So there seems to be a very real thing happening where people are just kind of existing in their space and they're not really getting anything done.
Yeah, get out of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or get your house in good shape.
Yeah, well,
or go learn to grocery shop. To me, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of people.
Learn to cook.
Yeah, it's crazy to me the amount of people you see eating out still with as expensive it has gotten.
Oh, it's crazy.
And I think a lot of people, they go eat out and they the portions are so big. A lot of people take some of it home and that's their other meal for the day.
Right.
I think that's pretty. It has to be right because how are people affording to spend? A family of 4, it costs you $80 to go eat lunch.
Easy.
Anywhere. It's crazy.
Easy. Well, speaking of getting out of your house and all this, 2 things. One, we went to the community dinner Sunday night.
I saw that. I looked at the menu. That sounded tasty.
It was fantastic, and we may do that again. If that happens again, I'll try to let more people know about it because it's super cool. Basically, you have some of the best chefs in Southwest Missouri all coming together, and they all make one of the courses.
That's cool.
And there was the commoners area where they all got a 7-course meal.
Yes.
And then there was the elites like us, and we sat at the chef's table. There was only 10 seats, and we got a 10-course meal.
It's a lot of food.
And so there was 28-day dry-aged steak that was prepared. There was Salvatore's restaurant had made handmade pasta for us. There was 8U shrimp. Do you know how you do shrimp?
Is it a grading system?
Yeah, so shrimp and mussels and seafood like that is it's not really great. It's a size system. So
okay.
It's the number 8U means there are under 8 pieces per pound.
Oh, so this is big old shrimp.
So if you've got 8U shrimp,
big old shrimp system,
it takes 8 or less of these shrimp to equal a pound. So these were ginormous
girthy shrimp.
They were bacon wrapped,
not
crab
shrimpy
stuffed.
shrimp.
No. They were jumbo shrimp, which is one of those misnomers out there. So that was really, really cool. That's the Springfield Branson American Chefs Federation group.
That's cool.
And you don't have to be a chef to join, by the way.
I know, we've talked about this.
Because I'm a member. And
that falls in the category of if I didn't have 100 things going on, I'd be right there.
Yeah, it's for me. It's one night. It's a Monday night a month. Shelby usually goes to yoga, and I go there, and they talk about how to cook really high end stuff, and then they serve you a meal, which is amazingly good.
Sometimes you stumble into something, you're like, Is this real?
Yeah.
Did I really?
It's like, holy cow.
Is this real?
And I'm like the only not chef there. I'm like a novelty. They kind of like me, I think.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at that guy. He just shows up and eats our food. And he's a lawyer. What's he doing here?
Whatever.
And, okay, so I had multiple thoughts about this yesterday, but this is kind of my vacation week, which, I've got a couple of days off because my staff's all off at a conference that they're doing.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of appointments on my calendar yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I've got some things I got to do. I'm doing some cooking tomorrow for Chef Kevin Lane. He's got a big cook. He placed an order for some stuff.
Very nice.
But yesterday, Shelby took me kayaking.
Oh, I saw this picture.
Yeah,
and I was like,
Worsham
got outside.
I did. Yeah, I know. And I was going to show the picture, but I don't know. I can't get my phone on the Wi-Fi here this morning. It's very weird. Yeah. So he can't either. So
Our producer is confused.
There's something I need to probably go reset the router or something. But yeah, went kayaking at Fellows Lake.
Yep.
Really, really neat. And you go there, you rent your kayak. They've got a little launcher.
So you just shoot in.
So they put you on this thing. They put the kayak on this thing, and you sit in there, and then you just go, and you're kayaking.
And you're kayaking.
And
was it the one that your legs are in it, or your?
No, this is a sit on.
Okay,
so this is you're on top of it.
Something about the ones where your legs
Shauna,
go in it.
I know. There's pictures. Picture on Facebook. You can look Shelby's
crazy physical activity outside, and didn't involve
my feed or
trap
Shelby's
shooting.
feed. There's honestly you can't really tell it's me because it's a distance photo, and I almost commented. She said, "I got Will Worsham kayaking," and I almost, but you can't prove that.
There's no proof. There's no proof.
No proof.
Sean is like, I want to see the picture now. Reset the router. I added some words to what she said,
just
but I knew
figured out that he can get on Facebook and pull down the picture and probably show it to us. He's just figured that out.
The kayaks where your legs go in them, to me, look like a death trap.
They
ones
kind of always felt like that to me. It's like, if that thing goes upside down, I'm
not going to make it.
What am I going to do here?
And I am claustrophobic, and that sounds terrible. But the sit-on kayaks seem wonderful.
Well, and they've got now these. I was researching this a little bit because Shelby had commented on it. They have these folding kayaks. They like fold up. They're like this big. You fold them, and then you like unfold them and kayak. I know. Right? Seems like a deal. Anyway, but it was really cool, because, I mean, there's the lakes there. That's nice. And Fellows Lake is a nice lake.
Yeah, it's real nice.
It's not disgusting.
It's nice. You don't think like a body's going to float by.
Or something else.
Or whatever.
It was windy. It was overcast. It was cool. I mean, it was great for me. But
I'm glad you enjoyed your outside activity.
I had a good time.
That's
but, I was thinking about that, about how, Springfield's a bigger town. They got cash, that. But, the investment that they have made in that, I think it's called Miller Park there.
Yeah.
Is really impressive.
So. Springfield has good parks.
They do have good parks.
The city of Springfield has always keyed in on the fact that we are an outdoor community.
Yeah.
And I think they really do a good job of that. I really do.
Well, and maybe that's the point is, pick one thing and be really, really good at it.
Yeah, I think our parks are impressive. I really do. Yeah, we have a lot of neat parks. And
Nathaniel Green is, if you've never been to Nathaniel Green.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty whippy.
And it's a neat, Springfield does that very well. Yep. And they have a lot of really neat parks for all kinds of different activities. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one thing that they have excelled at. And combined with that, their tree canopy in the city is awesome.
Have you been to the Japanese stroll garden?
I have, absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool, too.
It's very relaxing. We may have the...
Oh, looky there. There it is.
Yeah, so you really can't tell that's you.
You can't prove that's me. Yeah, that's okay. You're making everybody seasick. Leave it alone. Yeah, so there it is. That's allegedly me kayaking. There you go.
So do you think you're ready to go kayaking again?
I would go kayaking again, yeah.
Anything on the water. Well, I have to take that back. I love the water. I could be in the water all day. I can't do boats. I get terribly seasick.
Really?
I could do a kayak.
I
could do that. I can't do big boats.
I think I could fish.
I mean, I love to fish. I don't ever get to do it, but I do like it. I love all things water related. I just can't be on boats on the ocean.
I have little desire and probably an aversion to being in any public water.
That's fair.
Pools, lakes, oceans, pass. My own pool in my own backyard, if I had one.
If you had one.
I could do that.
I just have to deal with it because I love the water.
Well, yeah, if you're going to be in the lake, there's sort of a suspension of.
We're going to whitewater soon.
Yeah.
We're going, and I love elements of whitewater. Other elements of whitewater is my nightmare.
Thing about whitewater, it's just like it's like a freaking torture chamber. It's like a park of horrors. Sorry, my friend
but
Jared.
It's so fun.
It is fun. I get that, but it's like we're going to go from this slightly chilly water to concrete that's going to burn the soles off of my feet. I'm
just going to throw this out there.
It's painful.
Any bathroom near a pool is the stuff of nightmares.
Well, yeah.
It's just a horror show.
Of course it is. What did you expect?
And I, in general, am a clean, tidy person, and things like that bother me. But I just have to tell my brain to just shut up.
Oh, I've never seen blue rings. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what the blue rings are. It has something to do maybe with kayaking.
I think it does. Kayaking, probably.
I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
But so we're going to Whitewater soon, and we went last year, and we had an absolute blast. I'm not gonna lie, I shut down the lazy river, and I mean, I was like a dolphin who'd been set released, had been in captive and then released. I just dolphined through the lazy river, had the time of my life.
Well, the lazy river is probably my favorite part, which if I put everything together, is probably should be my least favorite because it's probably the most likely to.
Have a Band-Aid
be contaminated.
Oh, it's all contaminated. Every ounce of it is contaminated.
But there's a lot of chlorine there. So
there is a lot of chemicals to offset the contamination.
From the faith we put in chlorine for public pools and water parks.
Chlorine doesn't get enough. Thank you.
It clearly would kill COVID. All of the faith we put in chlorine and what it must do for us. Right?
We as a human race, we do not celebrate chlorine enough for what it has done for us.
Or what we believe it does for us. Let's just be clear about
what it has tricked us.
What has tricked us to believing. Oh, I'm not a chemist.
There really should be a chlorine day. Like a day where you celebrate
there probably is. There probably is. They're going to hang the flag from the White House, the whole thing.
Chlorine day. Oh, okay.
Oh, check that out. Republic Pool's building a lazy river. Thanks, Beth.
I know. Republic has a wicked cool pool. Poor Nixa, their pool is not open for the season, and I'm sure that is. Yeah, they had a big leak. It was leaking a whole bunch, and they had to close down, and I'm sure the residents of Nixa are not enjoying that.
Because Nixa, they had a pretty snazzy deal.
Ozark, Nixa, Republic all have snazzy pools. And I mean, even Marshfield, I saw pictures of their pool recently, and somebody was talking about it. It's really cool. My hometown of Houston, Missouri has a wicked cool pool.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I know. So
pools are expensive.
They are very expensive. And pools are not people are like, oh, we're going to pool. No, you're not going to make money on a pool. You're going to lose money on a pool, and you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a thing you provide for your community.
Once again, we need volunteers and people to self-sacrifice for their community. If you want nice things, that's all.
I want to have nice things.
You want to have nice things. You got to.
Okay, so
you got to spend ungodly amounts of money to build a TV studio in the back of your office so you can have and lose money.
And just lose money.
Just lose money.
I know.
Pour it out.
There's always things, though, that us entrepreneurial types do that you just lose money on, and you know it.
And
it's a thing.
Somebody said to me one time, and probably right, so you have a lot of terrible ideas. I'm like, I get that. I understand. But you know what? I don't want to use the bad word here, but if the ideas are all manure, then what do you use to fertilize something that grows well? A manure. So it takes a lot of manure-ish ideas for your one or two good ideas to grow in. If you don't try the stuff that doesn't work, you're never going to know which ones will.
That's right. So just pile on the manure and see what happens.
Just keep piling on the manure.
Grow that garden.
Well, join us next week when we're going to pile on some more manure.
And we're going to have guests.
A special
I'm excited
guest.
about this guest. We are having Scott Allen from the Webster County Health Unit. The guy's funny.
Yeah.
And he's funny in a very dry way. But he also...
Great information.
Yeah. Very interesting information. And Ballard should be back from Bolivia. Well, he's actually was going to be on the show, but he was going to be 12 hours late. So we did the show. But Because he's flying back.
We can. Oh yeah. Because we can bring guests in.
We should have done that. He's flying.
We can do that, and we got better internet now than we had. So
yes. So I'm anxious to talk to Scott. I'm anxious to see how Ballard's mission trip went. It'll be very interesting to hear about. So it'll be a good show.
All right. Well, join us next week for more manure right here on the Morning Waffle.